Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be diving into kind of some usage rate analysis in Platinum Arena. It's my first time doing a video like this, so definitely let me know if it's something you are interested in, or if there's anything I could do to make it better. I'll continue to try to make the graphics better and the analysis better, and kind of perfect the system, or at least get better at it. So yeah, your input is appreciated, and let's get into it. Alrighty, so I've never really done like a usage rate analysis. So what I did was I went into, so I went into Platinum Arena, and I went through the top 100 defenses, and I wanted to do it on Sunday because, as you can see, the arena ends in 7 hours. So this is kind of the point in time where a lot of people will be pushing up in the arena, and I can get a little bit more of like the most accurate representation as possible, because it's kind of late in the weekly cycle of the arena. So that's why I did it today, and yeah, I just kind of went through and charted all of the characters that are used, and I obviously can't see who they're using on offense, so the only way to do it is to look at the defense. Odds are a lot of them probably use a lot of the similar champions for offense and defense, because it can be quite the investment. But I do know they do change in terms of, who they're using on attack or defense, but there's no way for me to see the teams on attack. It's only going to show me the defense, so it's a little bit difficult, and I'll see if there's a way to kind of perfect that in time, but that's the way I had to do it today. So yeah, without further ado, let me go ahead and just pull it up so you can see what I'm talking about here, and we'll kind of dive into this. So yeah, this is just kind of me charting it out and kind of making this little infographic here, and it's something I'll try to track over time and do at least every month or two, and we can kind of compare previous images to future ones and kind of see how things are shifting here. So obviously Tormund is still used. He is the most common champion used in arena defense, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Tormund is a void, so he's never weak. He was a fusion, so basically any endgame player that put in any sort of effort is gonna have Tormund, and he's got the defense aura for all battles. That's pretty big. He's got the freezes, and he's lots of control and provoke. So pretty self-explanatory as to why he seems to be kind of the king of the platinum defense meta right now. I don't know if that's good. They did rework him a little bit to be a little bit worse, but he has still kind of stayed in the #1 spot in terms of usage rate. And then actually #2 is Arbiter. A little bit surprised to see that. I wouldn't have guessed the Arbiter would be #2 just because of the sheer amount of Tormunds, but yeah, Arbiter's still kind of locking down a big spot kind of at the top there at #2. We all know her, so there's not really a whole lot to go over there. One that has really risen up the board recently is Duchess, and Duchess is at #3 in terms of usage rate, and she's got a very insane kit for the arena. The all speed, or all battles speed aura, and an A1 that places shield. She's got an A2 that increases attack and blocks debuffs, which is amazing, plus places perfect veil, and then revive. So she's just got an amazing kit here. A passive that decreases damage by AoE attacks. So really the whole thing, it's not hard to understand why Duchess is up in the top 3, and she's right up there, pretty close to Tormund and Arbiter. And then one, back when I did a video reviewing the new heroes released, I really undersold Rotos kind of at a first glance when I was going over him. He's actually at #4 already, despite the fact that he's got kind of a low speed of 90, so you wouldn't think he'd be super good in the arena, but obviously with good enough gear, you can make that so it doesn't even matter. And yeah, the A1 that decreases defense, and also has a chance of granting an extra turn. A lot of people are putting him in Relentless set and just getting him, turn after turn after turn, and he's just cranking it out, doing a bunch of deeps. We've got the A2. This is the one that's kind of interesting, and it was hard for me to really gauge the value of the champion until I could really dive in and see him in action. But yeah, wow, he is really sliding up the boards. A lot of people have already either done the grind for him or summoned him, have already maxed him out, and he's already at #4 in Platinum Arena. I would not have expected him to shoot up the board that fast, but yeah, just within 5 days, what is it, like a week maybe? Within a week of being released to the game, he's top 4 in terms of being used in Platinum Arena. So yeah, that's a pretty meteoric rise for Rotos. And then, this one doesn't really surprise me. I know that Serife is very popular. She's got a pretty cool kit in terms of, you know, dispelling all buffs and decreasing attack and defense for 3 turns. Midnight Ritual is one of the better, you know, arena abilities in the game. Any sort of buff manipulation, turn meter manipulation, you know, debuffing of your opponent or blocking debuffs for your team. All that stuff is incredible in the arena at the higher tiers. So yeah, really not a whole lot to go over on Serife. She's been in the game for a few months now. She's a void. She's got an amazing kit, a good base speed of 100, and she kind of rounds out the top 5 currently. And I'm honestly a little bit surprised. I would have thought Hegemon would be like number 3 or 4, but he's down at number 5, and you can see he's like used half as often as Rotos. But worth noting, he's very tough to get. He's a void legendary that's never been part of a fusion. So any legendary like that, you know, Arbiter is a void legendary, but you can get her from the missions. Torment is a void legendary, but we were able to get him from the fusion event. Hegemon, there's only one person in the world who got him from a super whale event. Everybody else, it's just almost impossible to get him. You have to not only get a void legendary, but you have to have it be Hegemon. So very tough. That's why he's not number 3 or 4. I think he's probably used by a higher percentage of people who have him. It's just he's not super common, and you'll see the same theme with Krisk and Siffy. They might be a little bit higher on the board, but they're void legendaries that have never been part of a fusion or anything, so it's very tough to acquire them. But yeah, Hegemon is the one that gets to always go first. He's got this passive that's very interesting. He's going to always go first, and then he's going to lock you out of using your skills and decrease your attack. So not hard to understand why Hegemon would be super high ranked in the arena. And then we go to Krisk. Kind of surprised, honestly, to see him this high in the meta. So I would say that's probably the biggest shock to me is Krisk coming in at number 7. Maybe the second, maybe Rotos sliding up the board as fast as he did would be the number 1 surprise, and then Krisk being super high ranked up here, you know, easily in the top 10 kind of surprises me, but I don't have him, so I've never been able to really test him. He does have AoE decreased speed, which is obviously amazing. The A2 is ally protection and continuous heal, and increases the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. He's also defense based, so an exceedingly amazing champion. I never doubted that. I was surprised to see him this high in terms of rank in Platinum Arena though, but he's also got AoE provoke for 1 turn. So as I kind of do the analysis, it does come clear to me how powerful he could be. And similar to what I said about Hegemon, Krisk suffers from the same, you know, problem. He's super difficult to get. He's also newer than Hegemon. He's a super new champion in the game, so not very many people are going to have him. I think his usage rate would be a lot higher if he's been in the game longer or if he'd ever been part of a fusion like Torment. All right, and then Mountain King. He's kind of an undersold hero. A lot of people, I think people are just kind of recently starting to grasp how good Mountain King is in the arena within the last month and a half. And yeah, because he's always had that really low base speed. But if you start to look at his kit, he's very good against Torment. He's going to attack one enemy, hit super hard, scale off of HP and attack. He's going to ignore defense, scale off of HP and attack. And then he's going to ignore shield and block damage buffs, which is amazing. And he's never going to be freezing himself doing a bunch of crazy stuff, so he's able to kind of do good against the Torment meta. And he's going to increase his own attack each time his champion kills an enemy, so he can kind of snowball and just kind of get a little bit out of control while not locking himself out and freezing himself. And then honestly, this is another shocker. This is probably the number 3 in terms of surprising. I did not expect Skullcrown to stay in the top 10. I expected her to kind of start to drop out. She was the speed farm, the speed meta, Arbiter, you know, debuff, nuke. She was the queen of that. So that style has kind of been slowly phasing out after the Torment. you know, kind of shift of the meta. But after Tormund's rework, I wonder if she kind of slid up a little bit or if she just kind of maintained in that 8, 9, 10 range. But yeah, I don't really have to go over her super long. She's a void, so she's never weak, and she can nuke super hard. She's got massive AoE and a speed aura as well, so if you need to, you can use her as a leader. Siphi is already in the top 10 in terms of usage rate, despite being a void legendary and being brand new. So that tells you the people up here in the higher spots of platinum are pulling a lot of void shards and then slamming her and maxing her out as soon as possible. So very interesting to already see Siphi at the top 10 in terms of usage rate, despite being a void legendary and being super new. That does surprise me as well. But she's got, you know, 100% chance of attempting to place a sleep on her A1, you know, if the target's turn meter is equal or above 50%, and it cannot be resisted. So it's basically just 100% if, you know, you meet the turn meter requirement. Heal all allies by 5% of their max HP. That's a pretty low heal, but anytime we can just place all these sleeps constantly, pretty good in the arena. Fill the turn meter of all allies, place a block debuffs buff, a 60% increased defense buff, and a 30% increased speed buff. This is one of the more insane abilities in the game. It's on a 3-turn cooldown, so she can really snowball in the arena. She also, let's just go ahead and throw in some revive as well, and then, you know, place increased attack and increased crit rate on that person as soon as they're revived, and then heal each ally by 15% of their max HP at the start of their turn. So permanent continuous heal on your entire team with a 40% chance of removing freeze and fear. So yeah, just not hard to understand why Siphi would be maxed out and used in your team as soon as you get her. But yeah, that's kind of gonna do it for me, you know, going over kind of this little, you know, analysis I did of the top 100 in Platinum Arena. Definitely let me know, as I said at the start of the video, if there's anything I can do to make this better, or kind of how I can present it to you in terms of you getting more use out of it, because this is my first time doing a video like this. I love doing graphics and analysis like this, so you know, it's probably something I'm gonna try to do a little bit more often. So yeah, let me know how I can do it better, and I would appreciate that. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.